Tesla and Elon Musk are under a lot of heat these days. It's not just Twitter that's suing them. Actually, a lot of people are suing Elon Musk and his companies. We're talking about the richest man on the planet with a net worth of over $219 billion. And believe it or not, Tesla is party to over 1,200 lawsuits. Today I'm talking about Elon Musk's alleged treatment of employees at Tesla and SpaceX. We'll look at the recent lawsuit against Tesla for its mass employment layoff and another lawsuit involving racial discrimination. And we'll touch on allegations that Tesla is inadvertently supporting human rights abuses in China. If you think Elon Musk is a superhero, buckle up because today you'll see he's only human. Several weeks ago, Tesla got sued by its own former employees. The lawsuit was filed in Texas by John Lynch and Daxton Hartsfield. John was laid off on June 10th from Tesla's Gigafactory plant in Nevada, and Daxton was laid off 5 days later, also from the same plant. But they weren't the only ones who were laid off. Were terminated at the Nevada Gigafactory. Obviously, no one likes to lose their job. But is that really a reason to sue your employer? Well, here's the thing. These employees aren't seeking revenge and suing Tesla just because they were fired. They're suing Tesla because they claim the company broke the law. In the 10-page complaint, John and Daxton alleged that Tesla failed to obey U.S. federal laws on mass layoffs. According to the lawsuit, there's a required 60-day notification period under the Worker Adjustment and Restraining Notification Act. In other words, an employer needs to give about 2 months advance notice before laying off employees. Former Tesla employees state that Tesla's layoff wasn't in line with the law. In fact, one employee even said that all Tesla did was simply notify the employees that the termination would be effective immediately. Tesla's failure to provide advance written notice is causing devastating economic impact on those fired. That's why they're seeking class action lawsuits for all former Tesla employees who were laid off in May or June in the U.S. without advance notice. And they're asking for pay and benefits for the 60-day notification period. But let's rewind a bit. Why did Tesla lay off this many people in the first place? Well, a lot of it comes down to Elon Musk's super bad feeling about the economy. He said in an email to Tesla executives that because of this feeling, Tesla needed to cut their staff by about 10%. He claimed that the 10% reduction would impact salaried headcount. And he said his organization change was needed because Tesla had become overstaffed after a long growth phase. But here's the thing. When the pink slip came, it turns out that Musk didn't just lay off salaried employees like he said he would. He also laid off hourly employees who worked in service sales and delivery. If you're wondering how Elon Musk feels about his lawsuit, well, in late June, he spoke up calling the lawsuit trivial. He said that people shouldn't read too much into a preemptive lawsuit that has no standing. In his opinion, anything related to Tesla gets a lot of clicks, whether it's trivial or significant, and he puts this lawsuit in the trivial category. Elon Musk later clarified that they would lay off between 3 to 3.5% of their employees, unlike the 10% he said earlier. If you look at the numbers, Tesla had about 100,000 employees worldwide as of the end of last year. So 3 to 3.5% cut equates to between 3,000 and 3,500 employees. Now, if Tesla loses a lawsuit, it could face up to $500 civil fine for each day of violation. But recently, Tesla started offering some employees 1 week of severance. But the employees are seeking 60 days of pay. Attorneys representing the former employees filed an emergency motion asking the judge to prohibit Tesla from forcing employees to sign releases in exchange for less severance than federal law provides. Did you know that prior to the mass layoff, Musk had asked all remote employees to return to the office? Like many large companies, Tesla allowed remote work arrangements when the pandemic hit. 2 years later, many companies started encouraging employees to come back to the office for productivity reasons, and Tesla was no exception. But Tesla didn't just encourage their employees to come back to the office. They gave them an ultimatum: return to the office or leave. Elon Musk sent out a series of emails in late June 2022 on that exact subject. In the first email, the subject line was short and simple: remote work is no longer acceptable. He wrote that anyone who wanted to do remote work must be in the office for a minimum of 40 hours per week. And if they weren't, they'd have to leave Tesla. He justified the ultimatum by saying that this was less than what they had asked of the factory workers. He did mention that there were some exceptions, but he added that he would be the one to review and approve exceptions directly himself. Elon Musk's second email to employees had an even shorter and simpler subject line. It was titled, "To be super clear." Musk clarified that the office where employees, co-workers, and colleagues are located, not some remote pseudo-office, is where they must go. He also added that if an employee didn't show up, Tesla would presume they had resigned. Interestingly enough, Elon Musk even brought up his experience of living in a factory one time, so that those on the line could see him working alongside them. He claimed that if he hadn't done that, Tesla would have gone bankrupt a long time ago. That's why he expected senior employees to be as visible as they could be. Now, most companies haven't been anywhere near as extreme as Tesla when it comes to demanding employees to physically return to the office. Even the huge huge corporations. Yet, Elon Musk rationales that the companies aren't strongly requiring this, also having shipped out a great new product recently. And he added that Tesla has and will continue to create the most exciting and meaningful products of any company on Earth. But this won't be possible by phoning it in. So it's clear that Elon Musk isn't a fan of remote working, and this has a lot of other ramifications. For example, several weeks ago, Musk pulled out of his $44 billion bid to buy Twitter. Funny enough, one of the major reasons was because Twitter fired some of its executives, and now Twitter is suing Musk for terminating the deal. But look, maybe it's a good thing Musk terminated the deal. Think about his anti-flex work philosophy. Back in March, Twitter's CEO, Parag Agrawal, said that Twitter employees could continue working from home forever. He believes employees should work from wherever they feel most productive and creative, whether it's working in the corporate office or working from home or making a hybrid arrangement. So if Musk were to buy Twitter, imagine how Twitter's corporate culture and Musk's personal philosophy would clash. Now, Twitter is not as big as Tesla. They have far less employees in Tesla, just 7,500 in fact, compared to Tesla's 100,000 employees. Let's just say that Elon Musk's popularity is taking a dip, and his past experiences show Elon Musk doesn't take kindly to criticism. Look at what happened to some SpaceX employees just the past June. In an open letter, some SpaceX employees criticized Musk's activity on Twitter amidst allegations of sexual misconduct. Now, Musk repeatedly denied these allegations and even joked about it. In typical Musk fashion, yeah, it's the jokes and actions that caused some employees to call him out in the open letter. They boldly stated that his actions reflect negatively on the work value of SpaceX employees, and that his public comments are a frequent source of distraction and embarrassment to them. They even called on top leadership to rein him in. Well, the exact number of employees involved in the open letter criticism is unknown, but evidently every single one of them were fired. Well, I guess you don't want to mess with Musk. Reportedly, the reason for the termination was explained in an email from SpaceX President and Chief Operating Officer Gwynne Shotwell. She stated that the employees were fired because they were making other employees feel uncomfortable, intimidated, bullied, and even angry by pressurizing other employees to sign up to their letter. Shotwell even added that SpaceX has too much critical work to accomplish and that there was no need for this kind of overreaching activism. She finished off her email by asking employees focused on the SpaceX mission and to use their time at work to do their best work. After all, this is how they will get to Mars. Now, if you think all this puts a bad light on Elon Musk, well, there's a lot more dirt. And maybe this is why Elon wants to get off to Earth and go to Mars. Apparently, Tesla is also facing backlash due to racial discrimination. Recently, 15 former and current Tesla employees, all of them black, filed a lawsuit in California. They alleged that they were subjected to racial abuse and harassment by colleagues, managers, and even the HR department of the Tesla factory in Fremont, California. Some of the plaintiffs claim they were assigned to the most physically demanding jobs are passed over for promotion simply because of race. This is separate from another discrimination lawsuit filed by Owen Diaz earlier. Owen Diaz used to work as an elevator operator at Tesla's plant in Fremont, California, and he happens to be black, and he believes he was a victim of daily racial abuse. Diaz claims that Tesla employees even called him racial slurs, and a Tesla supervisor calls him the N-word more than 30 times. He also noted swastikas and racist graffiti growing around the plant. Despite all that, upper management failed to address the matter and stop the abuse. So Diaz took the company to court. A federal jury awarded Diaz $6.9 million in damages for emotional distress and $130 million in punitive damages in the case. But then Tesla challenged the verdict, and U.S. District Judge William Orrick slashed the payout almost 90%, down to just $15 million. A few weeks ago, Diaz rejected the $15 million payout and is asking the jury to reevaluate the case. You'd think it can't get any worse for Tesla, but it turns out Tesla's having problems, not just at home, but overseas too. Elon Musk decided to open a new showroom in China's Xinjiang region. Being that China is a leader in the automotive world, you might think that sounds like a smart move, but the Chinese government has been facing accusations of human rights abuses, especially against Muslim ethnic minorities. That's why human rights activists are calling on Musk and Tesla to scrap that new Tesla Chinese showroom completely. If you're wondering about these human rights abuses, well, here's what the Washington, D.C. based Council on American Islamic Relations said. Allegedly, along with foreign governments, about 1 million Uyghurs and members of other Muslim minorities have been confined to detention camps in Xinjiang, China. Chinese officials have rejected these allegations, and they say that the camps are only for job training and to combat extremism. But Islamic right groups aren't buying it. The director of the Council on American Islamic Relations said that no American corporation should be doing business in a region that is the focal point of a campaign of genocide that's been targeting a religious and ethnic minority. He demanded that Elon Musk and Tesla close this new showroom. He even went too far as saying that Tesla's endeavors in China are economically supporting the genocide. But here's the thing. 2 years ago, U.S. Congress passed the bipartisan bipartisan Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. This act bans product imports from the Xinjiang region unless businesses can prove they weren't manufactured using forced labor. Despite all that, Tesla went and opened a showroom in the Xinjiang, the very heartland of this controversy. You see, China is one of Tesla's biggest markets. In fact, the very first factory Tesla opened outside of the U.S. was in China. Chinese consumers are a big fan of Tesla too. Currently, Elon Musk's net worth is estimated to be $219 billion, making him the richest man on the planet. He's richer than Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Bill Gates. That level of wealth carries a lot of power, responsibilities, and opportunities, but it's also a magnet for a lot of problems. But now you tell me, do you think Tesla will win or lose the lawsuit? How do you think this lawsuit will affect the future of Tesla and even Twitter? Please share by commenting down below. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for your support.